through. You don't have time to know what you and I know.
Maybe you need to listen to the news when you're in traffic.
Well,
Sunny Hostin just got cooked. Live, Stephen A. Smith walked into the View and dropped bombs left and right. She melted down, the audience blinked, and we grabbed the popcorn. From clueless elites to woke logic fails, this is the kind of unhinged nonsense that makes normal people roll eyes and say, yup, this is why Trump is currently in the position he's right now. Buckle up, and with all due respect, this will be savage.
But most of the voters out there don't think like that.
But that means they don't have the information.
Okay, but 90% of the voters don't have the information. If you're out there busting your tail to make ends meet and to pay your bills, and you're going to work every day, and you got a family to take care of, and you're in New York City, you're getting stuck 2 hours of your day, you're stuck in traffic. You understand? You got a whole bunch of stuff to go through. You don't have time to know what you and I know.
Maybe you need to listen to the news when you're in traffic.
Well, I'm not talking about those on the left, just independents, who said, wait a minute. She didn't experience the primary either. And the last time we saw her in the primary was 4 years ago, and she didn't even make it to Iowa. They used that as an excuse to point to her level of inexperience. Then you got the war in Russia and Ukraine. You got the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, Hamas and Hezbollah and all of that stuff. And you had Trump using codes. Look, do you want her? Where is she? Where's the interviews? Where's she showing herself? Where's the tough questions? Where's the interrogation? And he leaned on certain things. And you knew people were going to gravitate to that because right now, as divided as our country is, fear comes associated with that. And because that fear was there, he fed off of it.
Yeah.
And people bought it, hook, line, and sinker.
fashion
And that's why he's the
generally
president.
Oh, so it's our fault now. We are out here working 10 hours a day, stuck in traffic, raising kids, barely keeping the lights on, and she thinks we are the problem because we don't listen to more news while driving? Are you serious? With all due respect? That's the kind of clueless rich people's advice that makes normal people like me probably laugh. I also don't want to say too much, but you know what I'm implying. We don't need lectures, we need basically leaders who actually live in the real world, filling up your gas on your own, buying groceries and so on. You know what I mean. She said the usual words: racism, misogyny, all of it means nothing to her anymore. And you know what? Same. They scream those words at everything. Trump, parents, comedians, even Mr. Beast. Now no one takes it seriously. It's like the boy who cried wolf, except instead of a wolf, it's just a bunch of angry Twitter users. When everything is hate, then nothing is. So people are turning it out, and that's why the side keeps losing.
A lot to unpack of what kind of went wrong for Democrats here. I think a factor is the working class feeling left behind, not reaching out to rural Americans. But what do you identify as what Democrats got wrong? And it seems like you agree Biden maybe should have stepped aside sooner.
He definitely should have stepped aside. I said it a year ago. I was on camera, everybody was getting on me. I said, yeah, you need to step aside.
You took some heat.
You remember, though, that he said, does everybody remember he originally said he was just going to do it for 4 years?
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I brought up.
Right. And did you think that once you know who stepped in, he said, well, there's nobody, we don't have anybody?
Well, the point is that it's not about who you're going up against when you know you're not what you used to be. And see, this is where covering sports puts me at a distinct advantage. I cover people every day where it's time for you to go, but you're holding on and you don't want to leave. People who cover the world of sports are accustomed to seeing that all the time. And so now here you are, to answer your question directly, you are the left. You leaned and you were a prisoner to the extreme left in a lot of people's eyes. Well,
this one is hilarious in my opinion. She shocked. That's Trump's running again. Girl, he never stopped. The man was doing rallies the day after he left office. Only someone totally stuck in a bubble would miss that. So the liberal bubble, obviously. The rest of us knew. So yeah. These people are always surprised because they never listen to anyone outside their echo chamber. Debatable topic, but we are chanting laws for maybe 1% of the population. And if you say anything, you are directly in an area of transphobic. No, that's insane. Like, it's biology, it's not bigotry. So everyone has the right to say something about that. It's debatable. It's a difficult topic. But most people don't hate anyone. They just want fair rules, and that doesn't make them evil. It makes them normal. Fair rules for everyone.
The fringes. Whether you're left or you're right, you're relatively centrist. You believe in compromise, negotiation, working with one another. Nobody gets to get everything they want. The problem is those on the fringes continuously push for you to get everything you want.
Yeah.
They're not about getting things done. They're about getting their way. And if they're not going to get their way, they're about complaining and griping about it, because they understand that when you are operating based off of grievance, that's usually what provokes you to get to the polls. And that is why they don't mind feeling aggrieved and displaying and disseminating that kind of message, because they know people are going to gravitate to that. And as a result, that might get them to the polls, you thinking you're going to get what you want as a result of it. And in this particular case, the Republicans were right.
So you think the Republicans are sort of an extreme fringe party?
No, I don't think that they're an extreme fringe party. I think that they're operating against those they believe are extreme on the left. Like, for example, when you talk about the LGBTQ community, I'm a fiscal conservative and I'm a social liberal. I'm fiscal with my dollars. I ain't apologizing for not wanting to pay high taxes to anybody. I'm not apologizing for that, right? But outside of that, I'm pretty liberal. Live and let live, okay? But you had folks on the left that were introducing some things when we got in the whole transgender issue, and they were talking about bathrooms, or they were talking about males transitioning to females and competing against girls in sports. You're saying it's ridiculous. I don't disagree with you.
Yeah.
But most of the voters out there don't think like that.
But that means they don't have the information.
Okay, but 90% of the voters don't have the information. If you're out there busting your tail to make ends meet and to pay your bills, and you're going to work every day, and you got a family to take care of, and you're in New York City, you're getting stuck 2 hours of your day, you're stuck in traffic. You understand? You got a whole bunch of stuff to go through. You don't have time to know what you and I know.
Maybe you need to listen to the news.
Yeah, Stephen A. Smith is in the news. When did sports talk become CNN? I mean, I like the guy, but come on. And this lady mad that people weren't watching enough news while working 2 jobs? She's yelling at the wrong people. Maybe instead of blaming us, she should look in the mirror and ask why no one trusts the news anymore. Yeah, so that was a quick reaction today. Please let us know in the comments what you think, and we'll see you in the next reaction.